Okay, this is the condensing unit for the air conditioning system. I'm going to catch a few spares here. Okay, the electric supply to the house is below grade. Supply is below grade. Really? We've got a single grounding rod. If we don't have a UFER in the garage, if we don't see a UFER in the garage, then that's gonna be what it is. Okay, we are on the home faces south. We're on the west side of the garage. And this is the electric meter, and the electric meter box should be sealed. Okay, so that's the electric meter, and it should be sealed to help prevent moisture. And just like that should be sealed, this should be sealed. Okay, this is the electric service disconnect box. Now the electric service disconnect box, and this is the way it looks like, it's laced up pretty good inside. We wanted to see it, and we did. And we saw it. And we will get that installed better here in just a little bit. It should fit in there like that. Thank you. This is the electric receptacle outlet. This is for the technician. And if this is GFCI, and I'm not going to test it because I don't know what the garage looks like, but if this is GFCI, it should be labeled as being GFCI. These usually have a rubber gasket behind them. They do. So this box should be sealed. So let's just say electric power below grade, one grounding observed, box is not sealed. The electric service disconnect to the condensing unit should be sealed to help prevent moisture infiltration into the wall. It should not be located behind the unit. It should not be located behind the unit. This foam is no longer acceptable, okay, because it does this. Alright? This does not meet current energy standards. 2015 is when this changed, so this might have been okay the day it was installed, but it's not okay today. Okay. Also, the refrigerant service valve ports, the Schrader valves, they're supposed to be anti-theft. You have a hard time getting in there anyway, regardless. But there's not supposed to be. They're supposed to be anti-theft, as per 2015. Again, that's an energy and a safety reason, because kids can huff the stuff and all that. So it makes the report. The foam makes the report. The Schrader valve caps makes the report. There's really, it's what it was when it was installed, and it's no longer acceptable by current energy standards and safety standards. Now, this not being located behind the condensing unit, that's always been the case. This not being sealed has always been the case. This should have been to the side, and it should have been sealed. We learn here that our coils are dirty, and our condensing unit is not level. Okay. Continuing on. This is our data plate. Well, we learned that this was manufactured in 2008. Alright, that makes this unit 13 years old. This equipment was engineered on paper. It was engineered on paper to last 20 years. It might last 35 years. But Las Vegas is going to give you 14. That's the odds. This equipment in this part of the country lasts about 14 years. So at 13 years, this equipment's done just about everything anybody around here would ever expect it to do. And it might last longer. It might very well last longer. I'm not saying that it's going to quit in 1 year. I mean, it could have quit last year. And it could go 35. But on average, this is old equipment. It's 14 years old. So when a technician comes in, I don't have to tell you how old the stuff is. Texas Real Estate Commission says, is it on or is it off? Is it performing the function for which it's intended, or does it need a repair, or is it installed properly? So they say things like that. But you might want to know. So we learned here it's 2008. It's 13 years old. This stuff lasts about 14. We also learned that it's a 5-ton system. This is a small home. This is a small home, so this system, I don't do size. I don't do size, but it's something to take into consideration. For some reason, somebody decided it needed to be a 5-ton. I'm just reporting the size. Okay. Also, we're learning here that the refrigerant is R22. R22. No longer manufactured in the United States, no longer imported into the United States legally. This is the old stuff. The old stuff that's not very efficient. The old stuff that is not environmentally sound. Okay? Now, is it working? It's working. I guess. We'll find out. Like I said, no longer manufactured, no longer imported in the United States legally. Is there a stockpile of it? You bet. Is it expensive? You bet. It's expensive. And they sell drop-ins that aren't as efficient. And this is already at 2008. We're talking about a SEER 13. You know, now we're 14.5s and higher. So we already have an inefficient system. And, you know, if somebody convinces you into putting a drop-in in here, you might as well put him on payroll, or her. You know, because nobody's going to want to follow somebody after they put a drop-in refrigerant in here. So we're just kind of stuck with that. Okay? So just about every technician that comes out here is going to, rightfully so, encourage you to update the system. So you can call me later and say, hey, bud, the technician came out here and said this system was an old R22 and that it's, you know, almost 14 years old and maybe we should think of replacing it. Well, you know, I told you. Sometimes I don't, you know, I didn't have to tell you. I don't like that being my best answer. But I told you. So this is the condensing unit part. And we also went in and we caught a little bit of detail about the meter, the electric meter. So we'll just move on here just a little farther. And this is the piping for the water heater. And it discharges higher from the ground than 6 inches. It's supposed to discharge between 6 and 3 inches, or at least the temperature pressure relief valve is. I think it's 9 inches for the safety pan. I'm assuming that the larger one is the safety pan. That might be marginal right there, but the temperature pressure relief valve for the water heater is definitely discharging higher, too high from the house. Coming along, we're still on the west side of the home. And what we have here is the gas meter. And if we do not find electric bonding someplace else, then we're going to be looking for electric bonding, and then you don't have it. So it's kind of interesting to know. This belongs to the municipality, this valve, and this valve belongs to you. Parallel, okay, that's on. Perpendicular is off. They turn it around like that so the ears line up, and they put a lock in there if you don't pay your gas bill. So this is the gas meter. It's high enough off the ground. We're just not finding any grounding. These are trace wires. That's for the gas company. That is not grounding. Okay. I'm going to keep on going here. Well, no, you know what? I can do this with the water. So we'll just stop it there with the gas. So that's what we got here. What do we have? A 13-year-old system using R22. That's not level. Has dirty coils. Box was installed behind it, and the box was not sealed. The GFCI was not labeled. The wrong kind of foam. We do not have anti-theft Schrader valve cap.